Is it all right to hit a Nazi unprovoked? I was always taught to never throw the first punch, never instigate. Defend, but don't attack. But then I saw a video of the white nationalist Richard Spencer being punched in the face during an interview, and I realized Spencer was in a pressed suit, wearing a tie, being interviewed like his opinion mattered, like he should be considered part of the conversation, like neo-Nazism was just one political point of view. And then I realized there's no better way to show some speech is not equal. Some speech requires a more visceral response. It's like Overton's window. That's the term from which ideas are tolerated in public discourse. Well, Overton's window doesn't mean shit unless it comes with some enforcement. So yeah, this is enforcement. It's time to punch a few Nazis.
On this episode of Just Informed Talk, what you just saw was a real promo for a show that's airing on CBS, where they're apparently advocating for violence against free speech in America. Plus, they just put out a tweet highlighting the fact that they put all of these threats against the president in their show. This is incredible, and we're going to cover it right here on Just Informed Talk right now. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to another episode of Just Informed Talk. I always like to begin by saying thank you to everybody who's hit that subscribe button. If you haven't, please come here on the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and make sure you hit the little like button at the bottom of this video. It's the thumbs up. It lets me know that you guys like this content and want to see more. So like I said, it seems like they are starting something that they can't finish. And it's going to be a bad fight for the good fight, as we are going to look at in this episode. But before we do that, we always check on the cue boards, and here's where we left off. We left off at cue post 3312, and there's nothing new to update here, although I'm sure we're going to be getting something soon. This is where we left off. If you guys want to get caught up on all the latest cue posts, I always encourage everyone to come back here to the landing page, watch these last few videos, and share them on your social media. And if you're scratching and going, what is QAnon? What is this guy talking about? Please come here to the landing page, watch this video. What is QAnon the Great Awakening? It'll give you all the information you need about QAnon the Great Awakening, how to get involved, where to find the info, all of that stuff. But today we have a pretty incredible story. I want to start by reading this to you. This is the United States Code Title 18, Section 871. It says, threatening the U.S. President or the President of the United States is a federal felony under that statute. It consists of knowingly and willfully mailing or otherwise making any threat to take the life of, to kidnap, or to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Now, I personally believe that this show is bordering on the line of breaking this law, this federal law, which is a felony, and all of these producers and the corporation that's putting this filth out there have to be held accountable. And you're asking yourself, what is this guy talking about? Why am I making a reference to the U.S. Code and this? Well, you saw what happened in that first part of this video. This is a show, apparently, that is called The Good Fight. Now, for those of you who don't know what this show is, I had no idea what this show was until basically I saw these stories start popping up talking about how they tweeted out these pictures of their show, which actually basically are intended to be jokes about threats against the President of the United States. Now, how much of it is a joke and how much is an actual incitement or call to violence, I'll have to leave that to the Secret Service and the FBI to make that determination. But to me, I'm really hoping that we all get this. If you guys want to help, go down. There's a share button in this video. Share it on your Twitter account and tag the Secret Service and tag the FBI, tag whoever you want. And I want this to be investigated. I am sick of these people thinking they can get away with this in our country. What you just saw in that first opening sequence was literally a person from this show calling for American citizens to fight free speech with violence, unprovoked. Meaning, if I'm saying something you don't like, you have the right, according to that person, to come punch me or hurt me, use physical violence against me. Do you see what our society is devolving to? This is really bad. And it reminds me of what we talked about before. You guys remember the story back in 2017? Well, guess what? Back in 2017, the FBI and the DHS were warning us about Antifa. even going as far as to call them domestic terrorists, certain officials were quoted as saying. And you guys can read through this article where it talks about how the conflict between what they call left-wing anarchists and right-wing white supremacists can be classified as, quote, domestic terrorist violence, which I totally agree with. But that aside, let's just look at this article which came out today. Now, this is from Breitbart, and it's talking about this show called The Good Fight. All right, now, when you go back here, when did this show start? Well, apparently it's a sequel to some show I've never heard of called The Good Wife, whatever that was, right? And then I think I remember when this Good Fight came out, there was this song and they were like protesting against some injustice, and it was like one of those feel good trying to like, but it's totally propaganda, totally subliminal messaging about, and hidden messages about, basically mobilizing the resistance movement against President Trump, which is really what this whole show, I think, is basically predicated on doing. Now, when you look at it, apparently this show came out in February of 2017 is when it premiered. Okay? And what does this show do? Well, I guess it basically is just a bunch of virtue signaling SJWs who pick different political themes to go on in their shows, right? But is it a coincidence that right around the time the FBI and the DHS were coming out and saying, hey, these guys are basically involved in domestic terrorist violence, that this show just pops up out of the blue just before that? Do you see the pattern here? You have CBS, one of the 6 media corporations. They're owned by one of the 6 major media corporations, or they are one. I'm one of the two. Doesn't matter. For the point of argument's sake here, what CBS is doing is they are trying to incite violence with these kind of shows, in my humble opinion. And like I said, I'll leave that to an investigation of the Secret Service and the FBI to conclude whether or not it's just a joke or if it's an actual incitement to violence. But in my personal opinion, when you look at this kind of nonsense garbage that they're putting on television and indoctrinating our youth with, and indoctrinating just the population, the masses with, that's all it is. It's indoctrination against the sitting president, to where you have this story that just came out today. CBS drama, The Good Fight tweet with assassinate Trump sparks calls for Secret Service investigation. As it should. As it should. You got to see this stuff. So I'm going to read the first part of this story, you guys. It says, CBS crime drama The Good Fight tweeted an image on Friday from a recent episode entitled, quote, the one where Diane joins the resistance, unquote. The image showed a character pointing to a list of quote-unquote target words that included the phrases assassinate President Trump and eliminate Mar-a-Lago. The tweet, which has since been deleted, sparked backlash among Twitter users, many of whom reported CBS to the Secret Service. Yeah, that's what this is. And you can see here's their tweet. Here's a screenshot of the tweet. It says, some of those target words look a little familiar. Did you catch any Easter eggs in this scene from the one where Diane joins the resistance? Okay, first of all, I have to ask the question, who is in charge of the Good Fights Twitter account, right? Who are the producers? Who are the people, whoever it is, who are involved in running this? Who considers a threat against the President of the United States a quote-unquote Easter egg? This is indoctrination. This is the worst form of indoctrination. And not only that, it is very, very obvious form of subtle, subliminal, suggestive, basically calls to action. If you ask me, that's why I say there has to be an investigation. They have to look at this fully to make a decision. But the Secret Service needs to be investigating this right now. And I want every single person at CBS who signed off on this show, who signed off on the scripts, who signed off on this kind of propaganda to be investigated. And if CBS had any integrity and any moral morality, they would fire these people immediately. They would cancel this show and they would hang their heads in shame for doing this to our country. But you know what? They don't care about our country. You know what they care about? They care about profits and they care about control of the narrative. Because they control everything. They have the choke point for information in this country. They run one of the largest corporations out there as far as media goes. And these people are trying to destroy our country with this kind of violent rhetoric. This kind of subliminal, suggestive manipulation of the masses, this is what we're up against, guys. And like I said, tweet this out to everyone. I want this video to go to everyone it possibly can, because I will not stand for this. And I will not stand until this show's canceled. I will not stand for anything until this show's canceled. I won't accept anything less than that. And I'm going to keep calling these people out every time they do this kind of stuff. Because I don't care about what, you can have your little show and talk about your resistance. That's all great and good. I'm totally for free speech. But when your show is, like we saw in the beginning, advocating for violence against free speech and using this kind of sick, twisted, deranged rhetoric and Easter eggs, if you want to call them that, then something's got to change. Guys, I don't even know. I mean, and this draws up some really important questions about, like, where are we going in our society? Well, I think where we're headed is in a very dark direction with these sick, twisted weirdos in Hollywood making shows like this and tweeting and basically mainstreaming their political dissidents into the media in a way that is suggesting to actually take violence against American citizens unprovoked. If you don't believe me, rewind to the beginning of this episode. Rewatch the intro clip. Listen to exactly the words that guy says. Now you can say, oh, it's acting and it's this and it's that. Well, there has to be a line in the sand you have to draw that says, even if you're acting, you can't get on screen and say, everyone out there, even though this is fake, you guys should go do this. That's an incitement to violence, a direct incitement to violence. And then you couple it with this garbage where they're, giving you Easter eggs on their Twitter account about threatening to harm the president of the United States, which is a federal felony. As an American citizen, I am completely disgusted with these individuals. And I want the full weight of the law to be brought down on them like they have never seen before. And I want you guys to spread this out there because this matters. This matters more than anything else, in my opinion. Because right now, what they're trying to do, these leftist ideologues in the mainstream media, what they're trying to do is weaponize their audiences against free American citizens. They're trying to weaponize their target demographics to go out and commit acts of violence against individuals who are exercising their free speech practices. Now, do I really even have to say that I disavow Richard Spencer and I don't believe in any of his logic or his ideas? Can that just go without being said? Because they lump us all into this group where I guess Richard Spencer just represents everyone they disagree with. But what Richard Spencer represents more than anything else, and the Supreme Court's ruled on this, is the right to free speech. I don't care. I mean, listen, he says what he says. You have the ability to process what he says and either accept it or reject it. That's what a free society is. That is the social contract that we have established between one another with our laws that says you can say what you want, I can say what I want, but the moment you start getting violent against me for what I've said, you're breaking the law. And the moment you start inciting violence against me with a call to action to go and hurt somebody for their speech, you are again breaking the law. And you're destroying our society. You're breaking down the societal norms that exist to keep our country safe and to keep it what it is, which is a free society. And, man, I hope you guys can tell. This has definitely got me upset. So, and it goes all the way back to this is what we're seeing here on the other side. Let's look at this on the other side. George Conway, the nobody who is best known for being the husband of a woman who's actually doing something positive for our country, and also best known for being a little slug or a parasite that tries to latch on to President Trump's Twitter and try to gain notoriety and fame by making these outlandish accusations against our commander-in-chief, that guy, he is coming out and escalating his attacks on President Trump's mental state. Now, that's fine. We live in a free society. Please, by all means, if you have something to say about the president and it's anything but an incitement to violence, by all means, please go ahead. You're more than welcome to. But when you start going through all this and you start putting it together, you have David Corn. Who was David Corn? And why is he in this article? Do you want to know why? David Corn is the guy who was working on the whole reporting at BuzzFeed of the Steele dossier, I believe. And it was him and I believe it was Glenn Simpson. And yeah, actually, I believe David Corn was Mother Jones, and then it was Glenn Simpson and him who put together the whole Steele dossier. Anyway, think about this. These people are on the other side of it, basically running at the president every day with these huge followings of just moronic imbeciles who actually believe the lies that they're spreading, right? That's what they're doing. And then you have on the other side, the other extreme is what you see on CBS with this kind of TV show. And you just see these tweets come out about, here's George Conway. Like, anybody cares what you have to think about anything. The only reason that anybody's even writing an article about you is because your wife is an actual patriot who's working hard for this country. And it's just the dichotomy of how ridiculous you sound versus how intelligent she sounds has to be reported on in some case and context. And that's what we're up against. So he wants to make all these accusations and, do some armchair psychology on the president, which is usually resulting in him just looking like a moron even further. But of course, you have other people like Maggie Haberman jumping in, and they're just all going after the president, no matter what he tweets. So you look at this stuff and you understand now where we're at. Like I said at the beginning, this is a bad fight for them because they're picking a fight that they are not going to win, because patriots in this country will only tolerate so much. We'll only tolerate it to the point where you are making direct incites to violence. That's when we have to get the authorities involved. That's when investigations have to be launched. That's when consequences have to come. And I'm not advocating for violence. I'm doing the opposite. I'm advocating for legal and lawful investigations of these people who are making these crazy incitements to violence, and also making these basically almost seemingly threats. They seem like threats against the President of the United States. Do you understand where we're at, guys? This is coming to literally, it's coming to a head here, and these people are trying to drive us apart. Their rhetoric, their insanity, their nonsense, their complete disdain for the Constitution and the law of our country is only becoming more apparent as we go further down this road. And they don't want to see where this road leads. Trust me on that. And to me, I just had to bring you guys, I had to bring this information to you guys, because when I saw this story, I was fuming. I don't know if you can tell in this video how upset this made me, but I was sitting there and I'm watching the videos and I'm watching the reading the tweets and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, they've crossed the line. They've crossed the line from exercising their free speech, their political opinions, and they've crossed into the area and realm of criminal activities, inciting violence against people for their free speech rights unprovoked. So you ask yourself this question: if you're on the left, right? And I know that some moderator somewhere along the line, I'm sure, is going to be reviewing this video and saying, oh, we'll have to decide whether or not this is good. Let me ask you this question. Whether you're left, right, whatever, Do you want this for our country? Is this the outcome that you think is ideal? That we just destroy our whole country, we destroy all of our rights, we fall into some sort of Lord of the Flies type violent conflict against one another? Because that is what you are creating. And that's what you're supporting when you watch the content that these people create. So, look, I'm going to leave it to the authorities, and I'm going to let you guys decide for yourself. I've told you how I feel about this. I got it on the record. And I hope that you guys spread this. Hit that share button. Share this on every social media you have. Get this word out there. That's my call to action for you guys. See, you know how their call to action is to go out and commit crimes and incite violence and to go punch people unprovoked. You know what my call is? My call is to you to share this information, to get it out there, to make it mainstream and force them to cover this and force CBS to take action against this kind of un-American and criminal, in my opinion, activity. So that's where I'm going to leave it, guys. I have to say thank you so much for joining me here. Apologies if I sounded a little wound up, but this is something that is just, this to me crossed the line. And I had to call it out for what it is. And that's just the way it is. When you see an injustice, you have to step up and say something about it. And that's where we are right now. So, a few ways you can help out the channel. Obviously, come here, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, and hit that like button if you guys like this video and want to see more of them. I don't know if you will, but I hope you do. And I hope you hit the share button, and I hope you get this out there. Also, don't forget to watch these last videos and share them out on your social media. That's a great way you can help the channel out. And don't forget to leave your thoughts, theories, and insights. I want to hear what you guys have to think about all this down in the comments, because I mean, I want to know if I'm like reading too much into this, or if this is, I'm not reading enough into it. That's what I want to kind of hear from you guys, because I don't know whether this is as bad as I think it is or not as bad as I think it is. But I can tell you, I feel like it's really bad. And this is taking us in a very dark direction. So, a few other ways you can help the channel. Come over here to Twitter, at JustInformYou on Twitter. Come here, give me a follow. You can get all my cool, funny tweets, and we can have a conversation, and we can just enjoy each other's company. I like Twitter because it's an easy way for me to reach out and kind of connect with you guys, and you guys can kind of tweet at me, and I can go through and see what you guys are thinking. So I just enjoy that, and I think it's a really good tool for us to kind of use to communicate with one another. Also, don't forget to go to justinformednews.com, and it will be that's the official website for Just Informed Talk. You got links to all the Q stuff, links to different news websites, links to different news articles, and we have something special coming in the works soon over here at the channel. I'm working on it. It'll be coming up soon, and some of you out there are going to be hearing from me very shortly, those that wrote in about contributing. You're just, please stay with me. We're just working on some stuff on the back end, but you also get all the videos from the YouTube channel here as well. Now, a couple other ways you can help out financially. Here is Patreon, patreon.com. It's a crowdfunding website. You guys come here, you click this button to become a patron, and you know, most of the videos I make end up not getting monetized, and the only way I'm able to do this is by your support here on Patreon, and I don't even know about this video. So if you guys want to sign up, it's a monthly donation. You can give as little as $1 or as much as you like. You set it and forget it, and know that you're helping every month create content here on this channel. Also, I have a GoFundMe set up if you want to make a one-time or anonymous donation, so I have that set up as well if you guys want to go check that out. So before we go, we do a segment at the end of each one of these episodes called God's Grace is Greater. We talk about God's grace and how it is truly greater. And for this segment, I'm going to go ahead and share some scripture, and then we're going to talk about it. Because, look, I'm imperfect. I'm capable of being upset. And as you heard in this video, I was not very happy about what has happened. And I don't imagine any of you are very happy about what we just talked about here in this video either. But we have to call it out when it happens, and that's what God calls us to do. And I want to read to you Psalm 43, and we're going to talk about it because I think it kind of speaks to where we're at. Psalm 43, it says, "Vindicate me, God, and defend my cause against an ungodly nation. Rescue me from the deceitful and unjust man, for you are the God of my refuge. Why have you rejected me? Why must I go about in sorrow because of the enemy's oppression? Send your light and your truth. Let them lead me. Let them bring me to your holy mountain, to your dwelling place. Then I will come to the altar of God, to God, my greatest joy. I will praise you with the lyre, God, my God. Why am I so depressed? Why this turmoil within me? Put your hope in God, for I will still praise him, my Savior and my God. And that's what it is. It's in those times where we feel like we're being just trampled on. We're being run over. There's sick and evil in the world. There's an ungodly nation surrounding us of immoral, violent, despicable people. And it's not on us to make that judgment, although it's something that we can pronounce as seeing if it's true. But God has the ultimate judgment. What we're called to do is look to God for guidance, look to God for wisdom, look to God for the truth, and let that fill our hearts, and let that push us and motivate us to a higher level than where we are now. And through that, we will expose this kind of evil. We will expose this injustice. We will expose these deceptions little by little, day by day, bit by bit. Slowly but surely, if you put your faith in the Lord on a constant basis, every day, day in, day out, and you speak to the Lord and you ask him, God, guide me. God, forgive me. God, bless me. God, show me the way. God will intervene. He will come into your life. He will save you. You already are saved. Your eternal salvation's already been bought and paid for through the blood of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And all you have to do is start the conversation, say a prayer, reach out to God, ask for forgiveness, ask for strength, ask for courage, ask for wisdom, ask for whatever you need. But make sure you ask with a humble heart, and make sure you ask God to help you become righteous. That's how we get better. That's what I do. That's my everyday routine. Acknowledge that I am a sinner and that I need God in my life to guide me. Because without God, what is life? Not that much. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I want to say thank you guys for watching another episode of Just Informed Talk. Again, if you guys want to help out, now's a great time to do it. Come here, click the big red subscribe button, and scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, which is the like button. That'll let me know you like the content and you guys want to see me make more. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.